Hi, English 201 folks. Welcome to week 2. I just wanted to provide a little bit of an overview of the work we'll be doing this week. And I want to thank you for the great work you did during week 1. It was especially great to sort of meet you on the discussion board, so thanks for that. And I also really enjoyed the depth with which you addressed the play this last week, so well done. That was just a pleasure to read and interact with. And if you haven't seen my comments on your annotations, feel free to go back and have a look at them. And feel free to keep adding there. Again, the annotations serve as a record of our course discussion. So the annotations should be treated as a tool for you and for your peers as the class moves forward. So feel free to continue to work on that. If you didn't get credit for the discussion board posts and you want to add remaining posts, feel free to do that. If you didn't get full credit for the annotations, please take a look at my comments and you might experiment with doing some of the things that the algorithm seems to value. This is my first time working with this service, and it's interesting to see how it calculates the quality of work submitted. And it has a few little odd features that I'd encourage you to maybe to better understand. It's trying not only to gauge the quality of the annotations, but also the time spent engaging with the play. So looking at pages, getting in and out of the assignment over time, and making it all the way through, those kinds of things. It also likes the social media upvoting and replying aspects, which I wasn't quite sure about. But if you have not tried the upvoting, if you would go back and try it, and let's see what it does to the score. My goal would be for all of you to get rewarded with full credit for the hard work that you've put in. But I'm just trying to game the system a little bit, figure out what it seems to need, and then I'd like to run through the same setup for week 3, now knowing what we know, having used it, see how that works, and then if there are issues or I don't like it or we don't like it, we'll go back and make some adjustments. So anyway, that's my plan for the annotations. Yeah, so do take a look at that information and see what you think and play with it a little bit more. And we'll see if we can't get it to work for us. Because it's a really cool record of our conversation, and I think it works better than what I used to do. So anyway, let's see how that works. Okay, so this week, I'm just going to go into share my screen. I think I'm sharing the right thing here. Yeah, here's the week 2 guidelines, which we'll be reading Taming of the Shrew one more time. And in the process of doing that, I would like you to take a look at a staged adaptation of Taming of the Shrew. And so I'm just going to go to let's see. I'm realizing I need to be someplace else, I think. Okay, let's look at this second reading assignment. And this is a discussion board. And so it asks you to do a few things. So the first thing it asks you to do is to reread Taming of the Shrew while having a look at the Royal Shakespeare Company production that's linked here. And this production is available through the EOU library. You just have to be logged into your Mountie Pass. The reason why I decided to teach Taming of the Shrew this year is because of this production. So it's a really interesting one. It's gender swapped, which means that almost all of the male characters are played by female characters and vice versa. So it was interesting. maybe a way to get around or to comment on some of the sort of problematic taming that happens during the play. But anyway, read back through the play, see what you think about this adaptation, and we'll be talking about it more on the discussion board. So then during the course of this week, we'll be doing two things as an original post. The first is a summary of the play. So some of you asked me what to do with the summary notes you've been taking, and I'm going to ask you to put them together in a summary. I really, really, really want a summary that's only 6 sentences, one for each act and the induction. And my reason for that is I want you to take the detail that we've been working on and compress it, right? So I do want specifics of who does what to whom. But I want it to be smaller, and I want, so that's an intellectual task of kind of reducing the detail down to the main important detail that's needed to communicate what actually happens in the play. So I'll ask you to do a summary. I will ask for it to be 6 sentences long, and yes, there are tricks to that. I have some students who just put a comma and a comma and a comma and a comma in this long list of stuff that happens. That's not my preference. I really would like you to practice that compression, that intellectual act of summary. And be particularly careful if you are using supports for understanding the play to set them aside so that as you write the summary, it is you in the play. Because what sometimes happens is if you're looking at your supports, like all the summaries and translations and whatever else you're using to help you with the Shakespearean language, sometimes what happens is the wording of those other sources gets into your summary, which is something I don't want to have happen. So be very careful to separate your work from the work of others by setting it aside as you summarize. The other half of that original post is close reading. And please take a look at my close reading lecture. Close reading is the key to this class. So it has to do with being able to take a look at wording and take that wording apart to explain why it means what it means to you. And we did a little bit of that during week 1 in the discussion board post that we did regarding the sonnet, where I was asking you to deal a little bit with word meanings. So we're going to do that pretty much every other week. And also in the papers, because close reading is the foundation of analysis of evidence in literary analysis papers. So this skill is very important. I'll ask you to be practicing it. And you can select one of, I think, 5 kinds of topics associated with this play: masculinity in marriage, deception, cruelty and farce, minor characters, and femininity and obedience. Just pick one. And pick a passage and do a little bit of close reading. And so that writing will go into that initial original post. And that original post is due by Thursday. And then I'd like you to make a couple of replies by Sunday. So that's the process. Again, there's some description there about close reading and what to do. And there's the description about Sunday. And so the posts will, the original post will earn 20 points. The replies will earn 10 points apiece. And yeah, so that's the key work that we'll be doing this week. The other thing that I'll ask you to do at the end of every 2 weeks is a quiz regarding the play itself. So I'm just going to go back to the modules just for a second, right? So there is a Taming of the Shrew quiz. It's a little 10-pointer. Those quizzes are really just to kind of touch base with you to make sure you feel confident that you've mastered the content of the play. They are open book, open notes, so don't worry. You can always rely, you don't have to memorize everything. You can use your, your notes, your annotations, whatever will be helpful to you to answer the questions. So feel free to do it that way. Okay, I think that's everything for now. Let's see, just double checking. Oh, one thing I did do is I created a module that's just the extra credit, just as a reminder that if you do extra work, you go see a play produced, or you watch an adaptation by video, or you watch a contemporary adaptation by video, feel free to complete a little bit of writing to indicate what the adaptation was about, and doing a little bit of description of a scene and some close reading of lines related to that. A couple people have already submitted extra credit related to 10 Things I Hate About You. Thank you for doing that. But we hadn't at that point done any work with close reading yet. So if you do another one of those extra credit responses after this week, I'll be looking particularly to see that you're doing some close reading connected with the sequence in the film that you want to talk about. And also that you're describing the scene. That is, if there's a car, what kind of car, what color? If there's people interacting together, where are they standing? Or what are they wearing? What is the lighting? Is it night or day, right? So describe what you're seeing and hearing in the filmed scene or the scene that you witnessed performed. So I'll be looking maybe for a little more detail than I got this go around with the extra credit. So just know that I'm looking for that. It really helps me see not only that you looked at the material, but also that you're thinking about it and incorporating it into your interpretation of the play. Okay, I think that's all for now. I'll look forward to continuing to read your ideas, and please continue to send me comments and feedback and questions as we move forward. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.